And what we'll do is we'll just look at it. And the exercise is on page 59. And the reason I like this exercise is because it starts to flex our muscle, and it helps us really get a feel for how to chat with someone and just check in with them. And I find it so useful to do that with a trusted classmate. And that way, when we do move into our sessions, we have this kind of sixth sense about what we can do and what's happening. So without further ado, what I'll do is I will simply start. You guys can do whatever you want. You won't bother me if you're there. If you feel like going off, go ahead. If you don't, I don't mind either way. I'm used to people staring at me all the time, so it does not bother me. And what I'll do is I'll pin Melissa. That way I can see just her. There we are. Lovely. Thank you so much for saying you would do this for me.
Yeah, I'm always wanting to test anything on myself, because I have found that I needed a lot more for my own survival than I ever thought.
Yeah, well, and I always find if I'm able to grasp an understanding of it, then it's much more easier for me to then assist my clients.
Mhm.
Yeah, so great. What I'd like to do for the sake of our exercise tonight is I'm going to be looking a little bit at this vagus nerve regulation exercise. And in coaching, what we're doing is we're really just looking at how we might be able to work with you in different ways you can stimulate the vagus nerve. Before I get going, what I always like to do is just to inquire to make sure that you have everything that you need there.
I do. Yeah, I do.
Are you feeling comfortable and safe with me?
I am. Yes, thank you.
Great. So I want to invite you, just to simply for the sake of this exercise, I want to invite you to think about something that you may have experienced, something that may have caused you any bit of tension, or maybe something came up that you felt a little bit off about, or anxious or overwhelmed lately. And just to sort of think about that, I have here, even if it's something that there's just a lingering sense of unease about that maybe has come up for you. And what I want you to do, if you're okay with it, in the support of this place, is just to think about that thing that maybe has shown up or caused you a sense of unease. And you can just let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
Okay, that was
It
easy.
was easy. It was an easy one.
Well, nothing wrong with that. We're constantly moving. So when you think about this, if you want to take a few moments with me and just sort of relax into this space and take a nice deep breath, I'm going to invite you to think about this while you're taking a nice deep breath, about this thing that has come up for you. And if you can just, I'm going to ask you one question. It's not the detail about it, but how it shows up for you.
Heavy.
Heavy. And when you think about it showing up in that way, is that in a bodily sense or a mental sense?
Both. It's almost as if it's crushing me physically and mentally.
Okay.
But if I had to choose one, it will be this sense of it's so heavy, it's crushing me.
And if you could have something that was completely opposite of that, what would it be?
Heart expansion.
And when you think about heart expansion, what does that mean to you?
Open chest, deep breath, inner peace.
And if I were to ask you at this moment, how far are you away from that open chest, inner peace? What would you say on a scale from 1 to 10? 1 not at all, 10 completely.
I am how far I am from this state, correct, of openness.
Yeah.
I'm quite far at the moment, so I will say a 7.
A 7. Where would you like to be by the time we're done?
A 4.
Okay, you're going in the opposite direction. So you're 7 toward it being painful.
Yes.
Thank you. And before we're done, you'd like to be at a 4.
Yes.
Thank you for that clarity. So if you simply think about this thing outside of you as if you don't own it. And if I were to invite you to simply sing a song or hum a little bit as you think about it being outside. As you hum and feel it outside of you, what happens?
That's interesting. It did decrease the pressure on my chest. It felt expanding.
Expanding. And if we were to continue looking at this and you were able to keep it outside of you, but if I could invite you to pull your shoulders back and open that chest expansion even more. And if you feel comfortable, simply stretch your neck from side to side. And if I were to invite you to tell me as it sets outside of you, how does it make you feel now?
I feel more at ease. I don't feel the crushing weight.
And as you think about moving to this place of ease and having no crushing weight, thankfully, how is this thing connected to you?
What do you mean?
So if it's outside of who you are, what's its connection now?
It's
Might be
almost, I feel like almost like a connection from it to my abdomen.
to your abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were able to describe to me what the connection looked like, be it a rope or a string or a thread, what might you say?
It's like a cable.
And what would you like to do with the cable?
Detach it from my abdomen.
What happens if you do that?
Do I do it?
What happens if you do that?
It will not have so much power over me. Feels like it's depleting me of my power.
So if you took a nice deep breath and imagined that cable disconnecting, what would happen?
I will have more power.
So take a nice deep breath and imagine that cable disconnecting.
Well, that's interesting.
What came up for you there?
Immediately, like the pain I had went away.
What happens if you hum at a farewell song?
Do I hum it?
Why not? You're bidding it farewell. How do you feel now?
I feel better. I feel lighter.
And if you're able to feel lighter and ground yourself in this moment without that cable, what does that feel like?
Empowered, hopeful, with more energy.
And as you think about being in this place of empowered and hopeful, where's that inner peace?
In my heart, in my chest.
And what does that feel like?
Flow, trust, surrender.
And I'm curious who gets to control this.
I do.
And if you're the one that gets to control it and what you're wanting is inner peace, how might you come back to this space whenever you want?
By imagining whatever is distressing me outside of myself. The humming really helped, actually. Scanning my body and see where I am being drained of energy by whatever I have going on, and releasing that with humming.
As you scan your body now, what's it telling you?
All of a sudden, I'm happy.
How do you feel about being happy?
Good.
If I had to ask you on a scale from the 7 to the 4, you're wanting to be at a 4, where are you at now?
Man, I'm like a 1. I can be present at class.
What is the cost to you not to be present at class?
To feel divided, to feel extra effort needs to go into being present instead of just naturally being more present.
What does it feel like being more present?
To feel in alignment with something that's important to me.
And who are you being when you're completely present?
I am being authentic with myself.
And how's that feel?
Purposeful.
Mm. Is there anything you felt like you'd like to talk to me about that you didn't in this demo?
Well, I'm finding this class today very interesting because I'm learning more and more about myself also as I learn about how to help other people. And it just really dawned on me how I have been very much fluctuating between hyper and hypoarousal because of my traumatic childhood. And the hypoarousal is a stage that has been prolonged that I'm going through now. So it takes so much more energy to do anything. So I'm just understanding, and I really my subconscious knew it, but my conscious brain made the connection of how similar these feelings I get are to my need to numb myself during my childhood and to paralyze my actions and my power for survival. So just even noticing that, it gives me compassion for myself, but also I know it will allow me to be able to help a lot more people by just recognizing, how the patterns show up from a deeply personal place.
So what are you going to do with this new information that you created for yourself?
When I journal about it, I'm going to have more compassion for myself, while at the same time understanding that if I want to change the pattern, I have to do it with awareness, but also with consistency.
Mm.
And then making sure that, you know, that I really fully, I'm a science geek, so I fully go deeper into it and understand it, so I can understand other people better.
Mhm. Nice.
Thank you so much. It's been great.
Thank you. Thank you for helping me with this demo. Does this feel like a nice place to stop?
Yes, it's a great exercise. Thank you.
Perfect. So happy to have you. Um, so what we can do in these exercises is simply have fun with our client. I walked through a couple of the things quite lightly with her. The more important thing is that she was able to find things that worked for her, talk about the experiences that she was experiencing. And we're simply there to listen and to ask a few small questions and to pick up the little pieces she was laying down.